Welcome to Uncaged, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we're speaking with Dr. Arwinder Judge. Hi, Arwinder. How are you?
Brand, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on today. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you. Dr. Arwinder Judge is the Chief Clinical Officer at Aspen Dental Management, Inc. Aspen Dental is a company that many of you probably know. It's really an innovative model in the dental space, and we'll go through a lot of that in detail in a second. But before we get into that, it would be great to hear a little bit more about your background, Arwinder.
Okay, sounds good. Well, listen, I could probably spend all day talking about myself, but I won't do that right now. I grew up in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta, and I grew up watching the Edmonton Oilers back in the day with
Wow.
Gretzky, all those great teams, right? And then I made my way to New York to go to college, New York University, the College of Dentistry there. I met my wife, who was a third-year student. I was second year. I had this plan that she would work and I would take it easy, but it didn't work out that way, right? But we found our way to Syracuse, New York. And in Syracuse, New York, I was making my way back to Canada slowly. And I had all these US loans, and the Canadian dollar was about 60 cents to the US dollar. So I thought I'd stay and work in the US for a little while. Well, what I found out what happened was that life kind of takes over. I started opening up dental practices. I opened the first one, and then I opened up 6 months later a second one, and then the third and fourth. And I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was creating, one of the first dental support organizations out there, similar to Aspen Dental on my own. And I had started at a predecessor company prior to that became Aspen Dental.
Mm-hmm.
CEO and I knew each other a little bit. We'd be at hockey games together. Our kids played a little bit together. And I found myself back at Aspen Dental in about 2007, 2008. And at that time, there was no doctor leadership within the ADMI kind of umbrella. And this company, the way we've grown, and the only way we could grow to where we are was with some doctor thought leadership within the organization. Mm-hmm. And Bob Fontana, who's our CEO, he got it, and he's worked in the office just like myself. And he knew how important it was to support the doctors the right way. So I came in, and really my focus was creating programs for doctors and putting the support there. So when you think about Aspen Dental from an ADMI standpoint, ADMI supports over 900 dental offices across the United States in 43 states. And the main core is we support the doctors who provide treatment for the patients. It's the largest branded dental organization in the world. And it's a pretty phenomenal team of doctors that are, these are the private practices underneath an Aspen Dental brand that we support daily. And there's about 27 to 30,000 patients that come in on a daily basis through these practices. And we continue to grow that platform. We grow about 85 practices every single year. And our goal is really is support the doctors enough so they can break down the barriers for patients to get the care that they need, right? So
before, let's go in a little bit more on Aspen Dental. I mean, just to outline kind of how the model has evolved and worked and really blossomed now into a very scaled enterprise.
Yeah, so the Aspen Dental from an ADMI function, it's more of a, so we have the dental brand underneath there, and we also have other verticals now that we've grown through. We've got urgent care centers, about 100 urgent care centers called WellNow. It's a branded urgent care centers that we're growing as well. We have med spa also that's under there, and perhaps it's probably good timing because I could probably use a little bit of med spa. And then we also are supporting an enhanced dental kind of organization also. There's about 69 practices called Clear Choice, which we purchased. It's a sister company to Aspen Dental. And what they provide is dental implants, sophisticated dental implant surgeries and therapy to help patients get back to almost real teeth when they're missing all their teeth. So those are the few different verticals we're supporting out there.
That's amazing. And I would say that when I hear what the Aspen Dental Management Inc. is actually working on, ADMI is working on, It's really, I would say, at the forefront of what appears to be kind of a reinvention of healthcare that we're seeing across the United States. I mean, tell me about that trend and how that's shaping.
Yeah, but Bant, I mean, I think you're 100% right. I mean, listen, the world is changing in healthcare. There's consumerism in healthcare, which didn't exist before, right? So you'll see, these companies that are set up for do it yourself, for do it at home, clear aligner therapy to straighten your teeth, which have taken off. But people they want to get therapy and they want to get it done and they want to get it today, which the system was not set up before. And the way we've designed Aspen, and this was about 23 years ago when we started the business, was taking friction out of the business. Really, we were taking dental insurances before anyone was taking dental insurances. We have labs on premises because we want to help patients and doctors deliver the care that they need to deliver, and patients for them to get, say, removable prosthetics, to get dentures, those types of things. So we've always been about breaking down barriers. We were opening evenings when nobody was opening evenings. We were open on weekend hours. So all those things to make it easier for the patients and for.
Yeah, I mean, I say hallelujah to that from my perspective. You know, someone who is hyper busy like myself, I was always very frustrated that whenever I needed to go to the dentist, it was always closed. So that I think is a great attribute. So, I mean, the company has certainly evolved a lot, and I'd just be curious to hear your take on some of the inflection points and how you guys basically maneuvered through those and innovated through those to become the company you guys are today.
Well, one of the things that we kind of knew early and we continue to do is we invest in doctors, and we can't invest enough in doctors to support them. And when you think about the number of lives that they're going to touch, it's humongous. And so listen, that's a daily kind of thing that we do every single day. But we also learned our base was in Syracuse, New York, and we needed talent. I mean, to continue to grow the way we were growing, we needed executive level talent, and it was difficult to attract it in Syracuse, New York. It's a great place. I mean, I love Syracuse, New York, but we came about 2 years ago or so, 3 years ago, we made a major move and we moved our support center into Chicago, into the West Loop area, which I think you might be familiar with. So that was
Absolutely.
one of our big inflection points, was grabbing top level talent. And when you think about the executive team now that supports all these practices, the chief levels, and even below that, Chicago's a nice place for us to be able to go get talent. So with that, we were able to grow into different verticals. With that, we were able to kind of support and help these practices out more than we could have just by staying in Syracuse.
That's great. And I imagine with some of these other businesses that you have now in the portfolio, I imagine you're offering PCR tests and all of those fun things, which is kind of a nice transition into the next question. I'd be curious to hear how you guys evolved during the pandemic when people couldn't go to dental practices, or at least during the early days, we were all very nervous about it. And how did that take shape?
Well, I got to tell you, Ben, I never thought we would see something like this in my lifetime. I mean, we watched movies about things like this, but I never thought we would go through a pandemic like we did. And it was really hard, I got to tell you. I mean, I remember it was a little bit more than a year ago, and Bob and I were sitting in the office, and Bob's our chief executive officer, and we were just kind of seeing where things were going. First of all, you're like, do you believe what's really happening out here in the world? Because there was a lot of noise out there. And then quickly you find out, oh my God, this is real. And how are you going to react? And there were federal guidelines coming in. The CDC, I think, was still figuring things out. I think they're still figuring things out. And then you had all the different states reacting differently also, because some states were like, you got to go to negative pressure rooms, you got to shut everything down. You had some states that said you got to shut hygiene down. But the one thing I'm most proud of is how our team reacted during that time period. We had to unfortunately furlough a lot of people early on. I'm glad to say that they are all back, and they were our biggest cheerleaders. And You have about 14,000 people in the organization, and I can tell you that we're a small family still. I still remember, and these were emotional messages that we received. People that were furloughed, they're like, Dr. Judge, you keep things going. We're going to be there on the sidelines. We're cheering for you. We're going to be there. Just make sure it keeps working. It was the first time I was really afraid about where life was going to go. And the beauty of it was our team dug in. They rolled up their sleeves. I don't think there's another organization that reacted or behaved as quickly and hit it as hard as we could. And frankly, we had a relatively successful year, if you can believe it, in 2020. And it was all due to the great teams of doctors out there, the great teams that we have together. And that's probably one of the most things that I'm most proud of is just how the doctors and everybody else reacted and how quickly we moved on a lot of different issues with PPE, with a variety of different things going on, and to protect the business, to protect the people within the business, and to provide services for the patients. We set up a teledentistry platform really, really quickly. We had to navigate and pivot on a daily basis, and it was 24/7. I mean, it really was 24/7 of digging in and really trying to figure things out.
I love the fact that you guys pivoted into teledentistry. That's very interesting. I'd be curious how that functioned. But the reality is that the business has survived and sounds like thrived a bit as well. Where do you find yourself now? I mean, are those people coming back, or how is it shaped?
It's doing really, really well. I mean, number one, everyone that was furloughed was brought back. So proud to say that. So excited about that. That was done really, really quickly. And the patients, there was all this pent up demand because remember, for a few months, people were scared to get out there. People were scared because of the virus. But there was this pent up demand and people started coming through. And I'm glad to say that there's confidence in the system. Patients are still coming through. The offices are doing really, really well. The urgent care did really well from a testing standpoint, from making sure people were okay from a COVID standpoint, the virus standpoint. The dental offices did really well, just from patients showing up and getting the therapy that they need. If you can believe it, there hasn't been one outbreak in the world in a dental office when it comes to this virus. So, which is pretty kind of amazing when you think about, how scary it was initially when we first kind of came out, and you think about the viral load that could be in a dental office, but with the protection that's there, not one single outbreak in a dental office that I know of.
And that's incredible. I do remember that I canceled my dental appointment during the early stages of COVID because I was like, probably my wife was very concerned about that for all of us. But it's one of these things that's critical in our lives. And so at the end of the day, people have to go see the dentist and continue on forward, or you don't have any chompers anymore. So, and then that's an even bigger problem for you.
Yeah.
So tell me, when you guys are looking at the future, it sounds like you're moving into many other spaces as well, but be curious to kind of hear how you think the next couple of years are going to evolve for the organization.
Well, I think there's a few different things. One is there's the core business, and the core of what we do every single day is provide support for these doctors, which will continue to go on. I mean, these owner doctors that run these practices, my job and what I help them out with is their development from a clinical standpoint, from a business or practice management standpoint, and from a leadership development standpoint as well. So that's kind of like core to the business. And they're changing lives. Like I said, you got 30,000 people coming in. You're going to continue to have patients that come in, and you're impacting so many different lives when you do that. I mean, you change one smile, and that person might, they get to eat better. They're out of pain. They might get a job that they might not have gone before. So you can see the impact there. So that will continue to go on. The other things that are very interesting is that we, as an organization, there's over 500,000 dentures done a year. And if obviously you haven't had experience with dentures in your own mouth, but when you think about patients that have to deal with them, they're very hard to keep inside your mouth. So implant dentistry has taken, the world by a storm. And we are focused on that, on helping the doctors so they can have the training and the development so they can sink those implants to improve all these patients' lives. So that's one area that's going to be pretty huge for us. The other side of things is digital dentistry. The world's changing; it's becoming digital. We have digital workflows. So patients that used to come in and have that goop put in their mouth, they don't have to do that anymore. We have nice scanning technologies in the practices, and you take it from scanning through cone beams that we have all the way through 3D printing these dentures in office. And so you can get dentistry quickly. You can get it right there. You can print the dentures. You can print guides. You can do a lot of things that you couldn't do before. And the third area I'd say, which is a big opportunity, is it's clear aligners. Like I said, it's you got a little bit of a democratizing of care out there. So you have patients that are getting this do-it-yourself stuff at home, and we want to make it better. So you have doctor oversight on these things, because that's going to be important. And so there's a big opportunity, I think, around helping patients straighten their smiles out. There's been a Zoom effect out there as well, because people have been looking at themselves when they've been talking, and they're like, "Oh, my teeth are not straight, or I gotta go fix this," right? So people are realizing, and there's been a big takeoff on that as well. So you've got the Zoom effect going on. So those are probably some of the three categories outside in the dental field. We're going to continue to grow the urgent care side of the business. Med spa is going to be big. I don't think there's really a great platform out there on a national branded level, which we're creating right now. So that'll be pretty cool for us. Over the next
I think really all three of the areas that you guys are touching on are critical, and certainly the digitization of the dental space is key. If you can figure out a way for me to stop grinding my teeth, that would be good as well.
Come on in. We'll get you. We'll help you out, man.
Yeah, I think I've been good. I haven't asked you any health questions, doctor, today. That's probably one of the things that I've achieved. Well, listen, we've been speaking to Dr. Arwinder Judge of the Aspen Dental Management, Inc. Arwinder, it's been amazing to have you on Uncaged today. If someone wants to learn more about what you guys are up to at Aspen Dental Management, Inc., where should they go?
Yeah, they can give me a call at any time, or I'll put my email out there if you need to reach out. It's drajudge@aspendental.com. But if you just come to the Aspen Dental website, aspendental.com, you're going to learn a lot about us there, and you can reach out to us depending on what you're looking for.
That's amazing. Well, there you have it. Dr. Arwinder Judge is the Chief Clinical Officer at Aspen Dental Management, Inc., where he's responsible for developing, implementing, and leading programs that support the dentists who own and operate Aspen Dental-branded practices. We've been talking to him today about the evolution of the Aspen Dental business over the last several years, as well as really kind of the amazing surge and success they've had coming out of this pandemic. And so it's really exciting to hear where you're going. And I think I need that med spa as well, Arwinder. But thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the future.
Cheers.
Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.